What's up, everybody? Welcome to Among the Fence. My name is Aaron, and today we're checking out the new album Death is Little More by the metalcore band Boundaries. They've been around for about 10 years and they made quite a name for themselves. They only released a handful of EPs before dropping their first LP, Your Receding Warmth, in 2020. They had a really modern sound while also maintaining a traditional metalcore presence, and just about every single song on that album is pure gold. And then they managed to repeat that a second time with their sophomore album, Burying Brightness, which is one of the best metalcore albums of 2022, competing with Norma Jean, Becoming the Archetype, and other bands that were super heavy hitters that came out in that year. And this third album, Death is Little More, which borrows a title from Dante's Inferno, where Dante is saying that dying would be slightly worse than living in a bitter black forest of existence, which is very dramatic, but this really does sum up what this entire album is. They said that this new effort will embrace and frighten the listener into action with one part diary and one part doomsday. The opening track, Turning Hate into Rage, does not waste any time with a ton of dissonance in the intro. The first breakdown is a steamroller, especially when the vocals come back in, that are showing a lot of distaste for someone who I believe uses religion to judge other people. And then we have my favorite track on this album, Darkness Shared, which is heavy and, dare I say, dark. The vocals are absolutely insane, and it continues the same storyline as the first track with an addicting riff in the verse. The clean vocals are very unique, and they basically come out of nowhere. They sound so good, paired perfectly with the distorted vocals. And the second time the chorus comes around, it's just distorted vocals completely, really throwing you off again, and then it ends in just absolute chaos. And it flows directly into the next song like pearls from a stem, which keeps insanity going with maniacal screams and very unsettling instrumentation. Then we have the song Easily Erased, which explains his struggles of continuing in life with the scars that this person left behind. The break really builds the suspense going into the breakdown. It just makes it so much more impactful, as does the clean vocal isolation going into the second chorus. And the outro paints a gruesome scene mixed with a ton of aggression. This is another one of my top tracks off of this album. The clean vocals and drums in the intro to Curse to Remember are fantastic. The melody with the harsh vocals are beautiful. The dynamics in the breakdown just keep going. The duet between the two different vocal styles is great, and it's really hard to predict where this song is going to go next. And if that doesn't say enough, the outro alone speaks for itself for just how unpredictable this song is. And then we have the title track song, and given the story behind the name of this album or the phrase or whatever, I would say that this fits perfectly. The vocals are right out in front. They're right in your face, and you can almost feel the little flecks of saliva hitting you as the drums and the chunky riff just rattle your bones. It really encompasses the struggles of life. And I love the solo in this song, which I gotta say, I don't get to say that too often when I'm speaking of metalcore, which was great. A Pale Light Lingers featuring Lockie. Keo from Alpha Wolf definitely has a beat-down feel to it. The guitar in the background of the chorus is haunting, and it evolves to become even more so as it goes into the verse. Lockie adds another layer to this band's sound that sounds so good, especially going into the bridge that has just tons and tons of synth added to it, which is another cool aspect that this band doesn't use too often. And it definitely feels like, I don't know, in terms of band performance, sound, and storyline, it feels like the peak of the album, the climax. And now we're going to start to go down as we go into the back half of this thing, which has one of my favorite songs, Face the Blade. It has a really old school riff to it that makes you want to start headbanging. The vocals steal the show, completely demanding your attention. And I love the clean kind of spoken word vocals that just add so much vulnerability to this song. Blame's Burden is another one of my favorite songs off of this album. If it doesn't show just how much I enjoy this thing, I have favorite songs everywhere. It has a Metallica-esque kind of intro, but quickly gets to the point with the use of a powerful riff. The melody in the chorus is beautiful, and the synth that follows is incredible as well. The clean section catches you off guard, and it brings you down before it just launches you back up. This song reminds me of something that Under Oath might have written off of their album Changing at Times. It just has an old school, I don't know, just vibe to it, and I absolutely love it. It's also really dark sounding at the same time. And then we have Blood-Soaked Salvation, which has some references to Your Receding Warmth, and it has a songwriting to go with it, featuring Matt Honeycutt from Kublai Khan. just absolutely kills it. Again, this feature works so well, especially with probably the most heavy and aggressive riff on this album so far. I will say the heaviest song on this album is definitely Scars on a Soul. Everything about the song just expresses exhaustion and frustration. The guitar in the verse is very simple yet also very effective, and it just builds on itself as the song progresses. The breakdown has very low guttural growls, which is really cool, not something we're really used to hearing so far on this album. Reminds me a lot of something that, old school, again, Impending Doom would do, and I just enjoyed it so much. And then we have the closing track, Inhale the Grief. While Inhale the Grief is a great closing track, it has some of the most dynamic passages on it, especially guitar-wise, I would say. The lyrics hit hard, and the chorus expresses kind of imposter syndrome, I would say, and the depression of just how he beats himself into the ground with self-negative talk. It really is very heartfelt, very, very, very vulnerable, and very relatable. If anybody, I'm sure almost everybody struggles with, talking positively to yourself and not feeling like people are going to find out you're a fraud, or you just can't really do it, And the bridge is brilliant as it goes into the outro. This is a great closing track for sure. I enjoyed it so much. Everything about this album is fantastic. And I love that it closes with, he kind of goes through talking about how he struggles with different people in his life. Like I said, kind of judging others based off of religion and such, and other relationships along the way, and how he's really just had a hard time carrying these scars with him. And now it's completely manifested and kind of became a part of him. And it's something that he struggles with every single day. I absolutely adore this album and this band. The production is very raw while also maintaining its crispness. The drums are very underrated, and the guitar riffs make you want to headbang and personally make me want to pick up my guitar and jam along with them. The lyrics are very vulnerable. They wear their emotions and their heart on their sleeve, and you can really feel the pain that he's been through. And, it's a progression of albums. And this one, he becomes even more vulnerable in it. And I just love that so much. You can feel what he endures basically day to day. This is easily one of the best metalcore albums around. If you like a more modern sound of metalcore with, harsh vocals and clean singing in the verses, or if you're a big fan of more traditional riffs that you would find from As I Lay Dying or something like that, or you like more technical stuff, this album basically has it all. I mean, it scratches all the itches, and it does it very tastefully. It doesn't do it in a sense where they're trying to make it all work to please everybody. It's just very natural, and it flows so well. I can't give this thing enough praise. With all that said, I gotta give Death Is Little More by Boundaries a 9.3 out of 10. But I want to know what you guys think. Leave a comment below letting me know what you thought of Death Is a Little More. Let me know what you'd rate it and what your favorite song is. And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give it a like. Helps out so much with YouTube's algorithm. It's such a simple thing, but it goes such a long way. And of course, if you want to help support me even further, don't forget to subscribe and ring the bell icon. Doing all that or any of that helps out tremendously. And I appreciate it more than you could ever imagine. I appreciate you guys more than you could ever imagine. Thank you so much for sitting here and listening to me talk about music. And I hope you have a good rest of your day or night whenever you happen to be watching this, and I will talk to you guys next time.